Hey, this is Troutbitten Tips. Thanks for joining me. Let's talk about mending. Specifically, I'd like to show you what I call the hop mend. I hop the line on the water. It's a short mend. It's extremely useful, and it sort of teaches you everything you need to know about the principles of good mending right away. Let's see if we can do it. So we mend to provide slack or to prevent tension to the dry fly or the indicator. Let's assume we're trying to get a dead drift on a dry fly or a nymph underneath an indicator. We don't want the cross currents pushing into the line because that just creates drag. And drag, of course, kills the dead drift that we're looking for. So when using tactics that lay fly line and the leader on the water, we're really doing the opposite of what I call the tight line advantage. Tight lining keeps all the line possible off the water. But here we're laying line on the water for a variety of good reasons. All right, so in a lot of my Troutbitten articles, I make the point that I really don't mend a lot. I'd rather get everything set up in the air with good turnover and some aerial mending. So by the time the line lands on the water, I have everything set up already how I want it to be. I also am not often looking for really long drifts. However, there's a time and place for good mending. And over the years, I learned what I call a hop mend. It's this short mend that really teaches everything you need to know about good mending skills all at once. It's super effective. What's the hop mend? Well, let's go look at it. We lost all of our cinematic fog. Looked good for a while. It's a good morning. Hey, I've set things up so we have an indicator leader, fly line, and now here's my Christmas leader so we can see it. Green, red, a little bit of yellow here. Hopefully we see this on film. Gonna drift a nymph under a Dorsey yarn indicator. This is my favorite indie by far. We will see this better than if I tried to show you this with a dry fly. But these same principles of providing slack and keeping the tension off of this indie, they also apply to just a dry fly. We mend to the dry. In this case, we're gonna mend to the indie. All right, so the hop mend. Here we go. Casting about 45 degrees up. As soon as it hits the water, or very shortly thereafter, I'm throwing my first mend. And this short mend is really an arch, over top and right back down. The rod tip doesn't need to move very far. Just take a look at this. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm hopping it, up and down. It goes over in an arch. And I sometimes will mend downstream, sometimes upstream, whatever it takes. And I call it a hop. You know what? Because a lot of times I'm doing it over and over. The idea here really is good mending, you don't want the leader to ever kind of get a chance to suck into the surface film. You can grease your leader and grease your fly line, that helps. But just frequent mending also really helps. I'm just hopping this line, upstream, sometimes downstream, whatever it takes to keep the tension off of that indie or dry fly. Little hops, little hops. You can see I'm not moving the rod very far. Another point to make is I am recovering some slack here. Watch, I'm gonna shoot all this out for my distance, and almost immediately I'm recovering some slack. Good mending, a good mend really, ooh, fish on. We just walked right through there. I like that. You wanna see this? He goes, no, it's all right. No, I've seen fish. There he goes. I can't believe he just walked through there. So, I'm trying to say that a good mend kind of starts with slack. Every time I mend, there's a little bit of slack. If I am already under tension and now I pick my rod up, oh, there goes my indie. You know, casting, hopping, keeping the tension off of the indie. Keeping the tension off of the indie. The whole way down, that indie didn't bump. I didn't pull it, I didn't bump it. But again, when I'm mending, if I don't start with just a little bit of slack, watch, I'm under tension, right? Almost under tension. Oh, I accidentally, I also flop the Indy. Don't want to do that. So it starts with just a little bit of slack here. There we go. Hopping it, hopping it, hopping it. And by the time I get down there, well, I could feed this back out. But yeah, I've recovered that much slack. All right, here's a point to make. I'm really not moving that rod tip very far at all. It's up and down. It's up and down. Up and down. What? 8, 10, boy, not more than 12 inches up and down. But it's the speed too. That's important. I need some speed to keep that hopping. I need some speed in the system. Up and down, up and down. Just like casting, this works with quick, short motions. Up and down. Just a small arch of really no taller than 12 inches. Little motions, little motions. All right, so that's the hop mend. Here's a couple key points to understand about all mending, really. This always applies. You need to mend with slack. That's what we're doing. We're mending slack. So start with slack. Keep speed in the system. Nice, crisp, short mends is what we're trying to do here. You also don't want the surface tension to really grab a hold of that line. And you do that with frequent mends. So mend more and mend sooner. All right, that's the hop mend. Hope that helps. Fish hard, friends. Look it. Does that bother you? Nope. A couple key things to understand about all mending. That's it. Let's go.